So Danielle Smith just handed Alberta separatists the keys to the kingdom and said prove it. And honestly, this is about to get spicy. The Premier of Alberta just gave separatists the green light to collect signatures for a referendum that could literally break up Canada. Yeah, you heard that right. We're not talking about Quebec circa 1995 anymore, folks. We're talking about Alberta in 2025, and the drama is already brewing faster than a Tim Hortons double-double on a Monday morning. Welcome back to Canadian Insights, where we break down the chaos so you don't have to. I'm your host, and today we're diving into what might be the boldest political gamble in Alberta since someone thought naming a street after Ralph Klein was a good idea. Danielle Smith just looked at Alberta separatists dead in the eye and said, "You want out? Fine. Show me the receipts." And by receipts, I mean 177,000 signatures from actual Albertans who think turning the province into its own country is a brilliant plan. No pressure, right? Now let's rewind for a second because this didn't just fall out of the sky like a Chinook wind. Alberta separatism has been simmering on the back burner for years, bubbling away whenever Ottawa does literally anything that makes Western Canadians feel ignored. Equalization payments? Bubble. Carbon tax? Full boil. Federal energy policies? Someone call the fire department because it's getting hot in here. But here's the thing, talking about separating from Canada at a bar in Red Deer is one thing. Actually getting enough people to sign their name to it? That's a whole different rodeo. Smith isn't some rookie politician stumbling into controversy. She knows exactly what she's doing. By allowing this referendum process to move forward, she's essentially calling the separatists bluff. They've been saying for years that Albertans are ready to pack their bags and leave Confederation. They've been loud, they've been vocal, and they've been absolutely convinced that if given the chance, Albertans would vote to break free faster than you can say Pierre Poilievre 3 times fast. So Smith said okay, bet. Go collect those signatures. Show me this movement is more than just angry tweets and bumper stickers. Here's where it gets interesting though. The magic number is 177,000 signatures. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but Alberta has over 4 million people. We're talking about needing roughly 4% of the population to sign on the dotted line. 4%. That's not exactly a mandate from the heavens. But it's also not nothing. If the separatists can pull this off, they get their question on a ballot, probably around September next year, and Albertans will have to decide whether they want to stay in Canada or go full independence mode like some kind of landlocked Texas. Now the question itself is pretty straightforward. Do you agree that Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province of Canada? No fluff, no fancy legal jargon. Just a straight-up yes or no. And that's where things could get messy. Because once you put something like that on a ballot, you can't control the narrative anymore. Campaigns start, attack ads fly, emotions run high, and suddenly everyone from Calgary to Grande Prairie has an opinion they're willing to fight their cousin about at Thanksgiving dinner. But let's talk about what separatism actually means in practical terms because it's not like Alberta can just pack up its oil sands and drive off into the sunset. There are a few tiny details to work out. Like how to negotiate trade with Canada. How to establish a currency. What to do about federal infrastructure, pensions, national defense, passports, and oh yeah, the fact that Indigenous nations have treaty rights with the Crown that complicate literally everything. It's almost like separating a province from a country is more complicated than unfriending someone on Facebook. And here's the kicker. Even if the separatists get their signatures and even if they somehow win the referendum, it's not legally binding. It's a glorified opinion poll. The federal government doesn't have to acknowledge it. The Supreme Court would probably have a field day with it. And even if everyone agreed to start negotiations, it would take years, maybe decades, to untangle Alberta from Canada. So what we're really talking about here is a political statement. A very loud, very expensive political statement. Now Smith is walking a tightrope here. On one hand, she's letting democracy play out. If Albertans want to have this conversation, fine, let them have it. But on the other hand, she's also betting that when push comes to shove, most Albertans will look at the logistics, the economics, and the sheer headache of nation building and say yeah, maybe not. She's banking on the idea that separatism is a lot more popular in theory than in practice. Kind of like how everyone says they want to go camping until they actually have to sleep on the ground and fight mosquitoes the size of loonies. The separatists, meanwhile, are probably ecstatic. They finally have their moment. They finally get to prove that all those rallies, all those social media campaigns, all those passionate speeches weren't just noise. But here's the reality check. Collecting 177,000 signatures is hard. You need organization, funding, volunteers, and most importantly, you need people who care enough to actually sign. And not just sign, but sign knowing their name will be attached to a movement that a lot of Canadians will see as extreme. That takes guts. Or maybe just really strong feelings about equalization payments. So what happens next? Well, the separatists have their marching orders. They've got a deadline, probably sometime in the coming months, to gather those signatures. If they succeed, we're looking at a referendum campaign that will dominate Alberta politics and probably spill over into the rest of Canada. If they fail, the movement loses credibility and Smith gets to say "I told you so" without actually saying it. Either way, this is political theater at its finest. And let's be real, this is also a massive distraction. While everyone's arguing about whether Alberta should leave Canada, there are actual issues that need attention. Healthcare, education, housing, the economy. You know, the stuff that affects people's daily lives. But nope, we're going to spend the next year debating whether Alberta should become a country. Because apparently, we didn't have enough drama already. So there you have it. Danielle Smith just threw down the gauntlet, and Alberta separatists are scrambling to pick it up. Will they get the signatures? Will Albertans actually vote to leave? Or is this all just political posturing that'll fizzle out faster than a Flames playoff run? Only time will tell. If you want to stay updated on this absolute circus as it unfolds, hit that subscribe button because trust me, we're covering every twist and turn. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Is Alberta separatism a serious movement or just noise? And hey, if you made it this far, you're officially a Canadian Insights legend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.